My dead wife is not haunting this house.
Okay, so let's talk about Oddity. In a year that is 2024 that is filled with so many great movies. Honestly, 2024 has some amazing movies. I'm going to do a recap of all the movies I watched for the half of the year already because there's a ton of great ones. Stay tuned for that video next week. But Oddity comes in and just keeps showing me that horror is just relentless, honestly. They keep bringing out some amazing horror. This is a film directed by Damian McCarthy, which had its premiere at South by Southwest. I wanted to watch this movie at South by so bad, but every time I had the chance to watch it, missed out on it because either scheduling, tickets, all of that, and just heard so many great things. That was back in March. Throughout March, I just been hearing so many people talk about it. It had a stint at the Overlook Festival, which I still want to check out someday, hopefully next year. And it is just one of those movies that I'm just super, super excited to check out. Once I sat with it, let me tell you, this movie got under my skin quick. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are on the road to 35,000 subscribers. We are less than 3,000 away. I had a goal of reaching that by the end of July, 10 days away. I don't know if we reach it, but I think we can get pretty damn close. So hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about this film. The film stars Gwilym Lee as Ted Timmons. You also have Carolyn Bracken as Danny and Darcy. She plays two roles here, which we'll talk about in a bit. You have Tadhg Murphy as Olin Bull, and you have Carolyn Menton as Yana. And that's all we'll talk about this film right now because I think go into this not knowing much. I'll give you a brief synopsis and tell you what it's about, but that's about it. So you basically deal with this blind medium who is trying to find out what exactly happened to her sister who was murdered one night. And she goes to the house where her sister was with her then husband, and we find out that there's a lot here that hasn't been said, and she's going to find out the truth. She kind of has this sort of connection to her sister as well, so she's trying to communicate with her, but she also has this giant wooden mannequin that's kind of guiding her. And that's all I'll say. This film really sets up atmosphere so well in the first 10 minutes because there is a moment when this film shifts into something else and I was just like, okay, I'm intrigued. And there's just a way about the film being framed and edited by Damian McCarthy and their editor as well, Brian Philip Davis, that is just done in a way that really gets under your skin because you have all of these shadows that are being played around with. You have the framing of the actors and the sets and all of that, and it really adds more to how creepy everything is, but also shot really well. And the cinematography here is beautiful. The cinematography is done by Colm Hogan, so a lot of credit there because there's a lot of darkness here, but the characters are still shot in a very beautiful way where you're able to see them. And I was very fascinated by this wooden mannequin. That is the one thing I will tell you. That wooden mannequin, you're going to be thinking about them for a bit. But I thought that the acting here as well really added to that creepiness and atmosphere building that they had. I think Carolyn Bracken playing two different characters because she plays twin sisters who are very different from one another, and they give this sort of impression that they are not the same actress as well. Even just because they change their hair and stuff doesn't make it this is a whole different person, right? But it's the demeanor and the way they act that's so different from one another that I think really adds to this performance from Carolyn that was done so well. And it all is also added by the great dialogue that was written by Damian McCarthy. When two characters are interacting with one another, you start to feel this sort of dread and this sort of like, I don't know where this is going, and I'm kind of scared about them. The scares here are also not cheap. They don't feel like they were just thrown in there to just get you jump scares. There are, of course, scares that do make you jump, right? There are scares that happen because of loud music and stuff like that. But for the most part, you feel okay after with certain movies. With Oddity, however, the atmosphere has been set up from the beginning and it never lets up. So you're constantly in a state of what is about to happen. I'm terrified about what I'm about to see. And there is one in particular when something is sort of revealed as to how something looks that just really gets you because it is a way that it's done. It doesn't feel like it's like scary in the traditional sense where something looks creepy and all of that. It is more uncanny feeling, and I really just jumped, honestly, to tell you the truth. I really do think that this film is going to get a lot of people talking about these type of horror films that are just so contained and really more about a mystery unraveling. Now, that is not to say that I don't have problems with the movie, because talking about mystery, I do think that its mystery unravels a bit too quick. That by the time that we already know what's happening, you kind of feel like it's lost a bit of its allure, a bit of its edge, and you're just waiting for a resolution to happen already. And I will also say that that is a problem with the film and its pacing, because you know this mystery has unraveled and all all that. And then by the end, you're just waiting for this whole thing to just come to an end. So that was the only thing I didn't like about the film, was I feel like it didn't do a great job at keeping its mystery and its allure going for a little bit longer. It was like, you're starting to get my attention. I'm starting to feel it. I'm trying to figure it out. But then you're just like, no, here it is. Everything that happens in the movie and why it happened. And we still have like 40 minutes left in the film. So I was just a little bit like, oh, okay. Nonetheless, however, I still really like the film. I really did enjoy it. It's definitely on my top 5 horror films of the year so far. It is not my favorite. I still will give that to The First Omen. That is still one of my favorite horror films of the last like 4 years for sure. And I'm definitely thinking that I don't know when that will change this year, but we'll see. But Oddity definitely still fits into the top 10 because I think that what Damian McCarthy was able to accomplish here is great. He does have another film called Caveat, which people have told me about, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out as well. I just have a ton of movies I want to check out right now, but this is definitely a film I'm excited for. And I really like also that McCarthy said that they were influenced by films such as Child's Play and Creepshow, which are movies I really enjoy, and I definitely see it here. This feels like a Creepshow short or something like that, like something you would see on there. And like I'm telling you, I think it was just a movie that had too much going on, because I feel like the story was very contained and it felt more like it could have been a short, but I still enjoyed seeing it sort of be drawn out. But that's my thoughts and opinions on it. Overall, Oddity is still worth checking out. I do think it has some great scares. They do feel a bit jumpy at times, but they are definitely horrific when the scares are shown for sure. And you know, I'm not gonna go out of here and say it's the scariest movie of all time. It is still a great horror film to check out if you're looking for something like that. But overall, I give it a 3.75 out of 5 and recommend checking it out. But let me know what you thought about Oddity in the comments down below. I'm very curious to know. We got a review on Crumbcatcher as well as our Longlegs chronological timeline of Longlegs crimes video up today. So check that out and I'll see you next time. 35,000 subscribers is the goal. Follow us wherever you can. Stay safe, stay positive.
This is not real.